So Arsenal versus Real Madrid, and everyone had their fair share of laugh when Arsenal fans were, especially the Arsenal fan TV, were having all their joy that we want Real Madrid, we don't want Atletico Madrid, right?
Hmm.
And okay,
Give us Real Madrid.
I won't share my opinion at all here, but inside I knew why they were saying that. But with Real Madrid, 15-time UCL winner, right? And probably pace up front, which Arsenal do not have. Arsenal actually um, dread facing opposition that have pace and power, right? PNP, as Abhay Maheshwari would call it.
Of course.
and and what a counter punch by Arsenal. Rice, rice, baby, as
Happy rice.
The
rice,
memes that have
rice,
come out
baby,
of that,
baby. Yeah. So,
Fantastic.
Maheshwari, man, what about the game? What a game that was, man. I mean, one of
What,
probably
what a game.
one of the greatest usual nights at the Emirates, would you say? Or
Uh, at the Emirates, probably the greatest UCL night.
yeah,
And I would say one of the greatest UCL nights for an English club in general, right? I would say in general.
my God.
Yeah.
Madrid को beat करना है.
Yes,
Tell me, just to put it out there, we put 11 shots on target against Real Madrid. And to put it into perspective, Real Madrid were the Champions League winner of last year. And not to forget, they are European royalty. They are the kings, undisputed kings.
You just
To put it
started
into
off with the
perspective,
debate.
bro, of course, 11 shots on target. Do you understand that? That's the second highest they've faced in their entire
it
history.
happens. It happens, man. The amount of UCL
No,
Arsenal plays
no,
now.
I
It
know.
always feels like that whatever they do is a lot more.
But he has totally
Basically,
ignored all the
they have
Anfield
to choose
nights.
the moments, man. Like I
Bro,
understand. I understand.
you can
But
say what you want.
I
You can say
understand. It's
what you
okay.
want,
but
He's
right?
focus on the
excited. He's
achievement. Let's
excited.
not open the debate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. He's
It,
excited. It's okay.
I'm just stating the facts out there. The
See,
second highest
I've
shots
come
they've
out.
faced.
Generally, what happens is that now I jump in these kind of things. But today, I don't want to take anything away from Arsenal. I'm far too happy actually to let
Yeah.
it go.
Gloat, my
So I'm just
brother.
going to
uh,
stay
uh,
here.
uh,
Just
Gloat properly.
go with gloat properly. It's completely fine.
yeah, but I'm just saying those are just the facts, right?
Yeah, sir.
11 shots on target
That's
against
not
Real
how it
Madrid.
works. That's not how it works.
Let
Hey,
him
Rup,
gloat. Come on.
Yeah,
He
but
Bro,
will,
okay,
and
okay,
he will
okay.
forget all that.
Best night any Premier League team has ever had in CL or something like that. Continue.
One of the best nights a PL team has had in the UCL. What is
Yeah,
wrong with?
one obviously. There's nothing wrong
correct,
with it.
I
absolutely.
never
One of the
said it
best,
is
right?
Nobody
best.
has
I said
won
it is one of the
UCL.
best.
No.
I'm
It is
saying
one of the best.
for at the Emirates, it was the best for Arsenal by a long shot.
the सवाल वही है.
And you have to understand that we were in the quarters as well. And you're laughing and whatnot. I can understand because you're challenging there in the Europa League, and you cannot kind of fathom what we are going through.
I would just say कि greatest night शायद होगा कि जब कोई ट्रॉफी उठा रहा हो मतलब just my
You're a
point
Tottenham fan, brother. What are you talking about? Greatest?
लास्ट में मतलब
Can't hear you. Sorry.
लिवरपूल इज वन यूसीएल मतलब वो बेस्ट नाइट नहीं होगी क्या मतलब सोच के देखना
I'm saying till the present point of time in Emirates, till
अच्छा
from when
एमिरेट्स
Emirates was
हाँ आर्सेनल का बेस्ट ग्रेटेस्ट लाइन आई एग्री
from
It
when
is
the
it is
Emirates was made.
one of the if you're going to say one of the best nights, I'm not going to dispute it. It was awesome. It was great.
Yeah.
What are the statements I've made? I have said it was one of the greatest nights for an English Premier League team in the UCL. It is. It is.
Yes, it
कोई
is.
कुछ बोल ले. I'm saying for Arsenal, it was the greatest night at the Emirates
Okay.
for
Yeah.
in UCL. I don't
Yeah.
understand where the questioning is coming from.
Okay,
No,
It's,
no.
no,
It's
it's
no,
actually
probably,
it's fine. It's
move
fine
on.
actually.
Move
Yeah,
on. Yeah.
and I'm very happy because 11 shots on target. मैं देखा मेरे को जो देखा मैंने जो देखा मैं वो बता रहा हूँ कि 11 shots on target. This is the second time in their entire history in the UCL, which is also the truth, right? Thirdly, what I would like to point out is when the match was
first was
taking
us only.
place,
Yeah.
huh?
No, you're saying six. First was us only, I guess, in the final against Madrid.
Yeah, might be. I know the second is
We
us.
had like 22 shots in the final. We lost, but we had
On
22
target.
shots. No, not on target. Not on target.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
We
not on
had
target.
11 shots on target, yeah.
Okay.
We had 11 shots on target.
I'm not sure of the stats then.
Right.
It might not be us.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it is a big night. And you have to understand, going into it, we were not the favorites. It's not like we were the favorites, but when we were out there, we dominated. And the other thing people need to realize is the Real Madrid had all their best offensive players on the pitch. The best offensive players on the pitch. They had the Jude Bellingham as well. So
And
in
you
terms
didn't
of
have the
offense,
defense.
for them to score,
Hmm.
it was not like they didn't have a chance. And our best defender is out injured, and it did give us a scare. But I'm so proud of the team that has come into play. And not to forget, of course, Declan Rice, those amazing kicks and whatnot. The best outfield player on the pitch, if you don't see the goals that were scored by Declan Rice, was Miles Kelly, an 18-year-old who's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
made his debut in September, right? And of course, as a fan, I can't be happier because he's come out from the academy and he's seeing Jude Bellingham and Vinicius and everyone, and he's just asking for the ball all the time, each time, every time.
Yeah.
So, and now that we are here, I would also like to say, finally, Declan Rice, that second goal that he scored, that like you could people are talking about the wall and whatnot. You could keep any wall with that shot that's going in. Right? And really, really proud of the team, considering the injuries we have had, considering what we have had to go through, and big up on Mikel Arteta, because to be fair, his history in European competitions hasn't been great. We have bottled quite a bit in European competitions
Yeah.
where we were supposed to perform better than the other team. Kudos to him. Also for not having a big decline in the way we play, with compared to the players we have. Before, we used to lose players, and the decline was massive, massive. And at this point of time, we had we had a CDM playing as a striker against Real Madrid in the quarters, right? You just have to deep it in, and at the end of the day, it worked. And for that, all kudos to Mikel Arteta. And you just have to look at what went through the match, and how Real Madrid are responding, that they want to make a motivational video, they want to have a comeback. So for them, it's a big thing. That means it was not a fluke, right? They are putting plans into place to try to overcome.
Hmm.
Well, there's three goals.
The other way of looking at it is they believe that they still have a chance. And I would say it makes sense because they are Real Madrid, and they have made big comebacks against Juventus, PSG, Manchester City, right? So but they are taking us very, very seriously. And if you look at the highlights after the game, nowhere were the Real Madrid players talking to the refs or saying that, this happened, we were not given something. It seemed like a normal
Game. Yeah.
game
No.
of
Free from
football
controversies.
where,
Yeah.
huh?
Free from controversies. It was a clean
Free
game
from
and a
controversies, a normal game.
fair win
You,
for
you,
Arsenal.
you
Hmm.
usually what happens in a game like this is our team is complaining that we were hard done by
Yeah.
the refs, maybe 60, 70, 30 or something like that, or some decision of none of that,
None of
because the game had played out like that,
No,
Yeah.
every
right?
player came
Right.
out in the press conference and said that we were beaten fair and square, and no complaints at all.
Hmm.
Even the
Yeah,
likes of
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
Vinicius,
nowhere.
Jude Bellingham, who are actually salty after losses,
Mhm.
I have seen them in
Yeah,
La Liga as well. A little bit of
precisely.
Hmm.
penalty shouts here and there, and they will have that complaints everywhere. They had nothing, so that goes to
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that bodes well, right? That bodes very well, and of course, I loved it. And finally watching those late night matches, this was one of those which gave me one of the biggest dopamine hits for this year for sure. For this year for sure. But yeah, big up on the team. Big up on how it played.
Okay, and
Nice. No,
so
congratulations. Actually, yeah.
Thank
I've
you.
there's the thing, like I was watching the match, and like at least in first half, like how with how equal it was, it just felt like that maybe, like considering where Arsenal, like the team that they have fielded, they might fall short. But you have to give credit to how Arsenal has picked up that second half, and then Um, uh, See, always whenever you score a goal, there is a shift of momentum. Then the way you score a goal has a psychological impact as well. You cannot take that away. And then to go and score those two beautiful goals, it takes something out of opponent, because you can see that even in the normal open play, you're not able to cope to this particular team, and then suddenly they can do this with set pieces as well. So that has somehow played in the mental stuff as well. Like, what do you think? The second half for Madrid felt a lot more lackluster, and it did not feel like how Madrid would probably play in other situations. Obviously, you played a lot better as well, but Madrid was
Uh,
there in the first half. In second half,
but
you blew them away. So
yeah,
where is that difference coming from?
no, but if you like when I'm looking back at it, because I've looked back at it quite a few times, uh, when you look at the game state, right? Even after the first 10 minutes, first 15 minutes of the match, we were in the game in the first half. And we were having good shots on target, right? We were having good shots on target. Even at that point of time, right? Even at that point of time, in the first half, we were playing well, we were not converting our chances. And if we had a traditional forward, maybe we would have.
Okay.
And people
Sorry for cutting you off. Actually, I feel like they're going to go ahead in a direction that I probably don't want you to go. Uh, Let me flip the question a little bit in that particular sense. Okay, Arsenal were good from the start. There's
yeah,
no doubt in
yeah,
that. Okay, so Arsenal was good in first half. Was good in second half. Madrid always play the way that they were playing. Okay, they don't want possession. They want chances. They had chances. Okay, so
yeah,
in first half, you had chances, obviously, because you were going to have chances. Madrid were going to let you keep the ball, and you are
yeah.
good enough team to create chances. No issues there. First half, Madrid also had chances where they could have scored. But second half, you muted Madrid quite well. So I'm trying to
Yeah.
understand, like, what did you change? Did you see some
I
sort of
do.
change in the second half that made Madrid a lot more muted than they were in the first
Okay,
half?
so this is I understand what your question is. I'm just saying the first half, the first chance also, it's Madrid that had it, right?
Okay.
And Mbappe was on goal,
Mm-hmm.
right? He was on goal, and we had Kivior, who's a last choice centre back who was playing out there, and on another day it probably goes into a goal, right?
Okay.
On
Mm-hmm.
another day it goes into a goal, but the first half also I would reiterate we had good chances.
Yeah, yeah.
Courtois was having a great game. If
He
not for
often does, man.
Courtois,
He often does, man.
such a great game. If not for Courtois, it would have been four or final for sure.
Might be, might be.
It-
Yeah.
right? So he was having a great game. I, the first half, right? The first half of it seemed like they had more chances, and everybody was talking about that in the second half because Arsenal had not taken the chances they were going to be put to sword. But I
Might be.
guess our defensive line stood strong. We suffocated them, and also the players also grew into the game.
Mm.
Majorly, Miles Lewis Kelly and Martinelli, who was giving them a run for their money, and Saka. Right.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, even after Declan Rice was also having a great game. If anything, the way Odegaard started playing in the second half improved minusculely.
Mm.
And I would say even after that, it didn't feel even a game where we won, it didn't feel like the captain was on the field, right?
Okay.
But
Mm.
second half we were also pushing them a little more. We were a little more aggressive in the press. We were
Mm-hmm.
a little more aggressive in the press, and we were getting the ball, and the players were trying to go ISO, which is in isolation. Basically, Bukayo Saka, even a half fit, was trying to take on players a little more. eh, I think the nerves had settled in a little more, so that gives you a little bit of confidence. And when you are playing well against Madrid, it probably
Mm.
boosts your confidence a lot more, and you start taking more chances. So that
Might be,
played
huh?
into our hands, and
Mm.
and then once a free kick like that goes in, it kind of gives you a jump. As soon as a goal, this is there has been with Arsenal for a long time. Once we score one goal, we start being in command more often than not. I
Okay.
guess it's with
Okay.
most teams. But the
Mm.
second goal went in, we were all like, okay, now this is our time. Third goal goes in. Oh, the only time Real Madrid started getting decent chances were after 90 plus minutes. After
Yeah,
that,
yeah. Last 5 minutes. Last five to
last
seven
five
minutes.
minutes, yes,
Mm. Yeah.
right, last 5 minutes. But other than that, if you got such a wide range where you are the one who are the protagonist, who have the ball, who are taking your chances, and you have got Declan Rice to clean up in transitions. Uh, well, that helped majorly. It also helped that their attackers, no matter how great they are in terms of attacking, they were not pressing us. Right? They were not
Hmm.
pressing us. Neither Rodrigo, neither
Yeah.
Vinicius,
Nobody's pressing. Yeah.
no, neither Mbappe.
I have
Right?
not seen so many people walking on the field for a long time.
No, I
No,
feel
Everybody was almost
I feel
walking.
there are times when
but
Ancelotti tries to pass on instructions to Kamavinga, Bellingham, and they
Hmm.
have certain kind of tips, like all the time on the pitch. They are asked to do certain role. Mbappe is asked to properly press. That's the problem we even had at PSG, right? I mean, he wouldn't press all the time. Okay, thoda, matlab, moody way of pressing, right? Okay, I'm going to make the press this time or a couple of times, but the third time when it did matter, he would not press. And Bellingham would
Hmm.
have to cover for him or, occupy that role or press him to
Hmm.
the end.
no,
Hmm.
So these
but
are,
I think I understand what you're coming at, but in general, also it was a tactical mismatch and not in their favor because Arsenal, in general, right, we have lesser game-changing mavericks in our team in terms of attacking talent. I would just say that Saka is the only one at this point of time, right,
Hmm.
who can take the game on his head and take it by the scruff of the neck in terms of attacking. But in terms of our out of position defensive structure and in terms of the way we press in terms of the kind of how do I say uh, the consistency with which we press and the way we hold our shape, it is one of the best, right? It is one of the best, and it was put to test by Mbappe. That's it. That's it. Vinicius wasn't there in the game. Rodrigo
Hmm.
was taken out of the game,
Yeah.
and you big credit to the entire team how they suffocated that front line because in spite of these talents, the best attacking talent on the pitch was a half-fit Saka. That just shows to you how the entire team had to be in position to do that.
yeah,
When you look from the outside, it seems like, oh wait, they were having an off day. It was, of course, in terms of if they would have scored the first goal, it wouldn't seem like that. But you have to give credit to the players who ensured that the spaces were smaller. There were less spaces to be covered. And big up on Urian Timber, who put on a great shift on the right
Hmm.
back.
Yeah.
And big up on Miles Kelly, who put up a great shift on the left back. Uh, I would say Kiwior did well from where he was coming from. But again, I would like to say, that whenever Kivio was there one on one, we were in trouble, and it was easy to see because you need some. In general, you need a little bit of backup with Mbappe, but if you have Kivio who's not played football for such a long period of time and who's your last choice centre back, of course it gave us trouble.
yeah.
But the bigger thing was I realized that when Saka got the ball, they were scared as well. They were scared of his missiles, as in the way he was pinpointing those crosses. It just uh, it's just bad
Yeah,
that
I
we do
mean, he
not
was
have
putting
a
it in
forward
the
at this point of
corridor of
time.
uncertainty. I mean,
Yeah, he was putting it.
yeah,
I mean, he was taking on Alaba at his whim, at his whim. And they keep telling me that, you know what, Jude Bellingham is strong, a strong lad. He does this. Bro, Saka was toying with him. The one player who actually had a good game on their end was Kamavinga. Long legs, stealing balls. I hated it. I hated it absolutely. But,
But he's
but,
out, right?
huh?
second
He's
leg.
out for the second leg, no?
Yeah,
Because, yeah, he's out. He would have been out in spite of the red
First
because
yellow only, yeah.
now, from the first yellow only, he was out of the
Hmm.
second leg, but he made a huge difference in that field. He was the
Hmm.
best outfield player.
Hmm.
Outfield player, I'm
but
saying. The best player was Courtois.
Best player was Porto.
I wanted to touch upon this fact that ironically in the game, you were you were doing so well from open play that the first goal had to come through a brilliant Rice free kick, and to top it off, the second one was even better than the first one. So I mean,
I
it
actually
was
like the first one
inch
more,
perfect. Yeah,
for some
yeah.
reason.
So I
But
mean, scoring two free kicks like that, scoring one in itself is such an achievement. Scoring two in a game of
It's
this
a record, I
magnitude in
think.
itself.
Has
But
never been done.
but yeah, why I say this is that it would have been so good if a goal could have come from open play, I guess. But yeah, obviously,
Yeah.
are not going to think that oh हमको open play में goal चाहिए या set piece में चाहिए, obviously. So
No.
it almost gave me a feeling that यार ये लोग तो corner set piece master कर लिए थे, अब तो ये सब free kick से गोल
Hmm.
मारना चालू कर दिए, ये क्या ट्रेनिंग
No,
चल रहा
but
है?
but that,
So,
that is what I was about to come to. People don't realize, and a big problem of that for me again I would like to point out is Odegaard, right? He keeps on those free kicks and they are not that good.
hmm,
And Declan Rice has had it in his locker for a long period of time. You just have to look
Hmm.
at the big games Rice has played. You have to
Hmm.
see the goals he scored, even against United, against Chelsea. Bro, he slaps the ball. He slaps the ball and it always has a curl in it.
hmm.
Hmm.
And he's always had it. Even in West Ham, he had it. Right?
Hmm.
It's just that he always plays so much behind. He's
So
played
the
so much behind.
band is like
He does.
Roberto Carlos band.
The
That
bend is
first
great.
that first goal is a lot sweeter for me than second goal, because second goal I know like the sweet spot that it took in the goal itself, right? But that first
But
goal
in terms of
basically was so
technique, in terms
unsavable
of technique to
in terms
bend
of
it,
technique.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
and
you could have had a bigger ball in that first goal and that still would have
So
gone
why
in,
I
and
said the second
that's
one
how
is
much
that
of a gift back it was.
To beat Kotia
Huh.
from a longer range than the first one, right? And he's tall, he's proper tall, he's massive.
Yeah.
To beat him again, having known that the first one has gone in, obviously the keeper is
Yeah.
more ready, right? To beat
Exactly.
him
Yeah.
second time, matlab UCL, the toughest goalkeeper to face at currently.
Yeah.
And
Huh.
it's
No
difficult here
doubt.
in
Yeah.
that context. So, matlab, I understand. But I
yeah,
wanted to
but
ask Amit a very important question from here is that you understand, right, that Real Madrid have had problems in this season, in especially facing tactical teams. Even if they, even very recently, I was watching their game against Valencia, and Valencia are a massive club, but they're fighting relegation, And if you see their record, especially against teams that are
yeah,
tactically prepared teams
the
or teams that actually sit back and just calmly defend. By the, I know we will always talk about Bellingham and all the superstars that they have, but सही में बोलो ना, अगर लीग की बात करेंगे, the individual brilliance of Rodrigo has actually bailed them out more this season than anyone. Rodrigo is the player. तो मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि
no, but all you have okay, okay. I'm I understand what you're coming from, but all you have to see is Rodrigo in terms of his goal assist numbers in the last 10 matches has been pretty bad. And against Valencia, the other thing was they had rested a lot of their players, right?
correct.
If you see the starting lineup,
No,
they
but
have
they
it's
conceded
just
and they lost the
huh?
game. They lost the game.
Yeah,
So
they got their main players after they conceded, right? After they conceded, they made the substitutions. Ki, oh, now we need to change the game. But
correct.
they were resting their players. And I would also like to point out in terms of people keep talking about Arsenal set pieces. They think we have a great header of the ball in Gabriel Magalhaes,
Hmm.
the best in the this, but it's actually the set piece takers in Bukayo Saka and Declan
Correct.
Rice who have the
Yeah.
ability
Yeah.
to put those balls on the regular.
Yeah.
It's a shooting technique thing. Of course, you need movement of players and whatnot and great head of the ball, but it is a bigger task to keep giving those balls on the regular. And
True.
that was a
True.
Declan Rice and Saka thing. And that is why as a fan, would always be pissed off when I saw that a free kick was being taken in the league, let's just say, and they were not putting Declan Rice or Saka because I've seen how they shoot.
Hmm.
Declan Rice is a little better than Saka, but Saka is pretty good. And I would see Odegaard on the ball, and we have not scored a single free kick in the league this
Hmm.
season because of that,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And coming to the second part of set pieces, I do agree with Rajesh. Tactically, of course, Madrid under Ancelotti have not been great. That's what everybody has kept on saying. And it seems so as well. It's just the individual players are so good, they come through. But specifically in just set pieces, if you see how Madrid defend, they have had a horrible record in their league as well.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And it was such a shame for us not having Gabriel Magalhaes, because when I was thinking that we could score, I was thinking maybe it's going to be a set piece, but not the kind that we scored.
Yeah.
Like it
Ah.
was a
So
free kick. We
I
expected
was
it to
just
be a
Headers and
corner or
all.
something.
about to
Hmm.
ask Amit the same thing that do you think, because it's kind of a subjective question here, do you think individual brilliance, I mean, we all know, um, United of the past, at least from my own experience, individual brilliance has bailed us out in games and knockout games, because that's how matters. You are compact, you score a goal, and you shut shop and you just secure the win, right? But with Real Madrid, the proposition is actually a little bit different. They are leaky. You can score against them because their fans, it is their own fans' admission that we have been vibing off of players. भाई vibe चल रहा है, गोल मार रहे हैं, दो मार रहे हैं, तीन मार रहे हैं, but there are times they can be leaky as well. So do you think in the return leg, do you anticipate a Real Madrid kind of comeback at the Bernabeu, which in itself is like a uh, like it's going to be pressure in itself, because obviously they are going to have the fans and they'll obviously close the roof and whatnot. So what do you think? What do you think are Arsenal's chances in the return leg?
If you when you're talking about Real Madrid, first of all, we know a thing that they will never put their shoulders down, right? They will still show up for the next match. Let's say it's a 3 goal, a 4 goal, 5 goal deficit. They will still come with the same intensity and will try to get a win out of it. And the fans are going to back them, right? And it will be a very hostage situation for Arsenal to be in. I know the 3 goal is a good enough blanket or
Yeah.
a blanket for you, but you're not. If you think that it is done, then you are completely lost. And if you think that they still have a chance, maybe then you have you can go
Yeah.
for it. So
So
to
yeah.
in the other part that you're talking about, I think there is one debate that always goes on, right? Ki tactical versus individual brilliance and people doing something. I have a different take on it, that tactical things work good in a season long for 38 match league, but individual brilliance helps a lot in knockout games, right? So yeah, that's where Real Madrid also shines, because they work on and the kind of, like, let's say you talk about Peps and Arteta, that you have some tactics built in, but they do have to keep on experimenting new things to grow, right? Or else that these tactics starts becoming very predictable. And when you rely on the brilliance and the smartness of the players to do something special, then it becomes less predictable as well. So
That's a good
that's
point.
the way Real Madrid is going to hit hard. And maybe I think the final score, I think it will be around 3-2. They will still fall a little short because three
Real
goals
shot,
is a
yeah.
little high, but it will be a very good match. It will
But
still be
Joga,
a
do you
match on.
think
Hmm.
it is possible that the aggregate score,
Hmm.
could be worse than it is, and it could be 7-0 to Arsenal,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
Arsenal go and just bang them, and it'll be very difficult for human species to prevail on Earth, on Mother Earth. Do you think that's possible?
No, if that happened,
If that
then
happens,
Earth might
we have
as
to
well,
close this
Earth
shit.
might as well explode actually.
Okay.
But the thing is that what I see like this whole tie as now, Arsenal has played their best game, the best game that they have in themselves. Okay, they are not going to play a better game than this season.
Mhm.
Okay, so whatever they had to show for, they have already shown all their cards. Madrid knows what Arsenal's attack powers is. They already knew, but they've experienced it now. So and knowing it on a paper and actually playing a game are two different things. They have played the difficult tie. They have played at their home. Okay, so Arsenal with their like players performing like best of their like with best of their abilities. Their stadium completely heated and क्या बोलते हैं अपना having that atmosphere, using Ale 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 to even boost it to another level. Sorry. So the point is right that they had everything and it worked perfectly fine, and I feel like that taking that third goal has given them a lot better chance
Yeah.
to win the game. But to say that Madrid doesn't have tactics is a little bit loosely like is saying it's a little bit of loose term.
Not like they don't have
They
tactics.
don't have the complicated set of tactic. Their tactic is very simple. Okay,
Correct, very
is
simple.
that
Tactics
we are
हमें
going to
expected
counter the
from
crap
every
out of you.
team, every
Yeah,
club कि उतना
I
होगा, and
agree.
at that
Yeah.
highest level, basic tactics will anyway be there.
Like I liked Amit's point really well in this particular
We
situation
think
that
basic tactics. हाँ साले तुम बन
the
जाना.
the the thing is na that with teams that play with complicated tactics, sometimes the what manager wants doesn't get translated into the field. You can see Man City in that particular situation when Pep tried something very like very complicated and it just did not show up on the field.
Hmm.
And but with the difference has always been the those players, players who can change the game. And as Abhay has also mentioned already, that they have a lot more game changers. So the unpredictability can start from anywhere, right? I don't see Arsenal go and dominate Real Madrid in terms of scoring and all that stuff. Okay,
Okay.
Corto is going to still have the
Okay.
game that he has,
Okay.
and there is a good chance that this is going to be a lot closer, basically.
Okay.
So Arth is
Now,
not going to
question
explode.
to
So good news.
Maheshwari.
बस
Now, let's
पार्किंग
give
होगी
you a
क्या?
scenario where you,
महेश्वरी,
let's
बस
say,
पार्किंग
concede
होने
the
वाली
first
क्या?
goal. Where you concede the first goal in the first half. Let's not say early goal, late goal, mid goal. First half में the score reads 1-0 in favor of Real Madrid. Now, what do you think? Look. Uh, when you go to the Bernabeu, right? It's a mentality game completely. So let's say you concede one goal. What is Arteta saying at halftime? I mean, like to hold shape, not let such a big lead slip away, or is he saying go on the attack, continue with the same what you have done in the last leg? You know you are better than them, and you can score that one goal. So what is he saying?
Arteta has already paid Simeone to come and give the halftime.
Nice.
All Arteta has to do is remind them where they come from and let them know what the history of the club is when it plays Real Madrid. The only
Which
club to
club?
be unbeaten
Which club?
against Real Madrid. Real Madrid, the first team to beat Real Madrid from the Premier League in their away ground. To let them know that that is where they come from. That those are the standards, as he keeps on saying, and make them realize that they've put the best foot forward in the first leg, and just to have a little composure,
Yes.
right? A little composure, because yes, they might have scored the first goal, but as a team, you still have got two goals up front. You just need to defend better, be better in the duels, because I have seen Real Madrid, and my to me the biggest threat is Jude Bellingham and Mbappe, because I've seen Mbappe, right, and even in this leg, right, it seemed he was the most dangerous one when it came
Hmm.
to scoring. And I've seen Mbappe in the World Cup where everybody says that France were out in the finals, that too.
Yeah.
And he took the game single-handedly. So
Mm.
I know what Mbappe is capable of. And
Yes.
he scares me the most because of the raw talent that he possesses. And then they have got Jude Bellingham. But one goal down is not where the jitters come in. That's what I believe, right? Of course, if you take one goal and for the first 2 to 3 minutes there are jitters, but if you can pass that off, you still have enough comfort to stay put, right? To stay put. The other way of looking at it is, what if they score one goal and we score another goal? Do they go down in the dumps? Of course, they have their fans for
Yes.
them, but I have seen Real Madrid fans turn on their team so fast, like no other. They keep
Yeah.
saying that these are the high standard fans, but I know it could turn out so ugly for them if they concede, even
Yeah.
after they have scored.
Yes.
It turns very, very ugly, right?
Yeah.
And specifically if they start seeing that we are shooting shots at their goals.
Yeah.
So when you say one goal down in the first half, that's not an ideal case scenario, but I don't think that's when the jitters come in.
Maheshwari,
As soon as the second goal hits, my friend,
Yeah.
we are praying to the old gods and the
You'll be
new.
humbled then. Finally. At least you'll come. Your feet will be
yeah,
coming up
So
to
see,
pick you.
all
I have
all
a
the positive stuff and all, I have had this question in my mind for some time as well. That see, you played really well, okay, and you scored two really beautiful set piece goals, okay. And I mean, it is not fair to say that take those two set piece goals out, but I'm still going to take them out, okay. Uh, uh, the thing is that if it was any other team, I would have said you had a lot of shots, okay. The goal was coming here and there. but you were not playing any other team. You were playing Real Madrid. Okay, Real Madrid has this thing where you can have thousands of shots against them, and Courtois will save everything.
Yep.
Okay, so you take those set piece goals out. You actually scored your first goal at 80th minute or something like that, with Marino. Right. So if you might or might not get that chance of scoring the set piece, okay, and in open play, as many chances as you made, Madrid is capable of holding you down. So I don't understand the in general, like how mentally currently Arsenal is doing,
No,
but
but
uh,
but that is what I'm saying.
hmm,
That even in open play, it was not like we were not having shots, and we
you
were
always
having.
will have shots. That's what I'm saying against
But that
Madrid.
is what I'm saying.
Hmm.
When as a team you are having shots and they're decent shots, you still there is till the end moment there is belief that you can score. It's when you're not having shot and you get one chance out of nowhere and you miss it, you feel, oh, that's it, it's gone, right?
It's a little bit different in Madrid. It's a
Yeah,
little bit different in
And
Madrid,
that's why.
actually.
also there's
That's
another
why
thing
I
I would like
said
to
that. Yeah.
there's another thing I would like to point out. It's a good thing it's Madrid. It's a great thing it's Madrid because we know that if there is one team that can make a comeback, it's Madrid. And that is why mentally you're prepared and you're in your senses like that. You cannot
Yes,
have
I was
a,
about to come to that.
a
Yes,
blip of a moment. You
yes.
have to be out there.
Because you're not
Eh,
taking them for granted. You're not
You're
taking
not
your
taking them
lead
for
granted.
granted.
Yes, you're not taking your lead for
So
granted, even
I'm
though
not. I'm not
it's
sure
3-0.
why. Like
No, no, that's the problem.
you don't have to
Lohitan,
take.
do you know why that comeback happened? Pep against Man City. Because Pep का जो वो है ना, उसका जो क्या बोलते हैं, उसका ego is so high, and उसका ego टूटा after that game. That's why they won the Champions League. And अबे महेश्वरी will agree. ईगो जब पेप
Hmm.
का टूटा तभी वो सिटी को जिताया, तभी वो इंटर के अगेंस्ट जीता, नहीं तो नहीं जीतता.
he
Like
changed
वो
his tactics, भाई.
वो
वो
ईगो
गैलेक्सी ब्रेन करता
तोड़
रहता
के
था.
खुद को बेचना पड़ता है. योर सोल हैज टू बी सोल्ड. ये जो प्रिंसिपल्स एंड ऑल है ना, दैट्स व्हाई क्लब लॉस्ट 2 फाइनल्स अगेंस्ट रियल मैड्रिड, बिकॉज he had a level of ego कि भाई मैं खेल के जीताऊंगा. इनफैक्ट you were the best
We
team
played well,
on the,
man.
no,
The
you were
second
the best team
second
in the
like
Champions League.
actually
But बोलते हैं
the
ना,
Champions League wala final that we lost, right? I feel like that we played the best possible way. Like there was nothing that we
that's what
couldn't
I
have
was
done.
coming to. Liverpool in those 2 finals were the best team of the competition, but they lost because again Salah को उसने पेल दिया, because master of dark arts again.
First wala the different. The first wala
First
different.
वाला
We were
different.
not the best team in
Second
first
वाला
one
तो you
actually.
were the best. You are the best
Second
team.
one we were best.
और
Yeah, we
साला
were the best team.
आके मतलब he was a little cocky before the game कि भाई
Hmm. Hmm.
revenge comeback and all that, but नहीं हुआ क्योंकि ये लोग ना something in their head, man.
Nah, dude, I would have said that in on any other day, but on that particular night, right? Courtois just had the like best night. Like I feel like there's this one game where Casillas has had like this kind of night before as
Hmm.
well. They have goalkeepers like that they'll have the finals where they'll just have the best game of their life. Courtois had the best game of their life, and we had so many shots and not bad shots, like really good shots, and we played fantastic in that game. The only reason is it feels like it's not like that. Klopp was not adjusting to anything as well. We were just at the highest of the level, but
Hmm.
unfortunately, Courtois was also exactly at the highest of the level.
तो मेरे को
So
एक
yeah,
पैटर्न, मेरे को पैटर्न बोल रहा
and
हूँ,
that's
maybe
why
you will
that's where I'm
agree.
coming from.
Yeah.
That's why I fielded that question.
Hmm.
That the thing is, if Courtois is on his night, right, in against Real Madrid, he cannot calculate how many shots you had. What you have to calculate is that how many shots they had. Okay, because they just need that one shot to convert.
Correct.
Real Madrid doesn't need 10 shots to win. They need three. That's it. So
Yeah, I agree.
you know that as a team you know that, right? And as a fans we know that. As a team, your team would know that. As a coach, Mikel will also know that. So the thing is that if Madrid has like converts that one chance, the one chance that
तो
they get,
मतलब I know
like what is there a shift in mentality? Not
no,
all the teams
fans
are
will,
all the.
fans can fly all they want, but I am pretty sure I was actually about to tell that to Maheshwari. I am 100% sure the moment the game ended, right?
Hmm.
Arteta must have rallied his troops and went to the dressing room, and immediately, do you know the first thing he would have said? That the tie
Hmm.
is not over.
He
Right?
should be,
मतलब
Shrav,
मतलब
definitely, yeah.
emotions are running high. राइस ने 2 फ्री किक मार
Hmm.
के and all that. I'm telling you, Arteta जाके बोला होगा tie is not over. Then जाओ. Next day you come back to training. मतलब 100%. मतलब क्योंकि ये अगर इंफॉर्मेशन पास ऑन नहीं होगा, योर बैटल यू हैव लॉस्ट. नो मैटर द
You have
लीग
lost the battle,
मच
yes.
दिस 3-0
And
channel,
you also
they will
look at this
overturn
thing,
it.
okay?
And
you look at how Madrid players have
yeah,
responded to this. Okay,
and
that
इसलिए
is
मुझे लगता है
like
overturn नहीं होगा.
they need to lose calm. Okay, they have not lost the calm. Like
Yeah.
they the bad thing for a team is that you do not have the self realization of the fact that you are not good. Okay, you're being edgy. You're being कहते बोलते हैं अपना defensive. That okay, this did not work out. This did not work out. We did not कहते बोलते हैं lose against a good team. They know where they lost. They know why they exactly lost. So
Hmm.
they'll be prepared for you next week. And the amount of calmness that the Madrid players have shown, right, that should give you an idea that the confidence that they have in their ability to think in their mind that okay, this is not a lead that we cannot overcome. That
Correct.
is kind of scary when it's come to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Any other team, I wouldn't be worried too much.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
Madrid, like, yeah.
Across the table, I just wanted to ask. I know it's still
Hmm.
early, but based on
But I understand where you all are coming from, right? I
Hmm.
understand, but you just have to see how good we were,
You
right?
were fantastic, yeah. Hmm.
How good it cannot be such a massive fall off unless we lose more players. ठीक है, player चले गए तो दिक्कत हो जाएगा. I agree. To put it into perspective, I was saying, I kept on saying second highest shots. This was actually the highest shots. The
Okay.
last team that had that many shots was Liverpool, by the way,
Okay.
right? Liverpool
I
in
thought so.
2009, they had the
Hmm.
same number of shots, and that time also, when that many number of shots, the score line was 4-0, right?
Ah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
The
yeah,
score line
that one.
was
Oh, okay, okay. I remember.
right.
Okay.
All
Hmm.
I'm trying to say is, of course, Real Madrid is a big team and whatnot. I'm just saying, even if their best team comes on, right, and we are not at our best, I'm saying we still have a chance then. What I'm trying to
yeah,
Obviously.
say,
Hmm.
a team that has played so well 1 week before, I mean, it's football and it can happen, but more often than not, it cannot be such a big fall off in structure at least. Of course, if you have got magicians, it's football and it's magical and everything can happen in it. But
yeah,
logically
logic.
speaking,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
by the way,
That's
logic
why
goes out of the
I
window.
don't vote. I or neither Amit or even Jogar, we don't vote, even though we would like, कि ऐसा हो, Madrid कुछ कर दे. But
Hmm.
logic, Europe prevails, and we don't think ये overturn हो रहा है. Nothing. 2-0 तक
It-
ठीक था. 2-0 तक ठीक था.
uh,
2-0
2-0,
is a
of course.
dangerous score line. ठीक है.
Okay,
No, I'm not saying
I think we are not on the same page. I feel like this is going to get
भाई
to
देखो,
नहीं,
अगर
it will not get overturned, but I mean if you concede that
अरे
first
वो
goal
exceptions मत
in
दे. But
somewhere हाँ नहीं
3-0
मतलब in somewhere the 20 minutes वाला ना, if you don't concede till half time na, actually
भाई देखो,
even then I'm not confident. The thing
yeah,
is that
exactly.
with Madrid
So,
I'm just not confident.
but what I'm saying is, even the Arsenal players know it. Do you know?
Hmm.
So if you as a team know it, you try to
correct,
you
correct.
can work in two ways. Firstly, you don't have a blip, right?
Hmm.
But some players, if they're not up to the task, right, under the lights, sometimes you would know, like Carrius did, that sometimes it just happens to you. You can't help it,
Just
and
to
Hmm.
that
confirm.
happens. That's when we are in trouble,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's
So actually, yeah, my question was actually going to be on this line. I think I completely forgot. Like you've already mentioned that Kivior is one of your weak pieces, right? In the
yes,
team.
yes, yes.
Where else do you see that they
Uh,
can take
when,
advantage?
when I look at that team, right? When I look at that team, I'm thinking the other player that I'm thinking is actually Odegaard, right?
Hmm.
Odegaard is another player, and the third player is like a coin toss for me. Is Thomas Partey? Either he's going
Ah.
to have a great ass game, or he's just going to keep giving the ball away, right?
See, the biggest thing that you did, right? And I remember this in second half, somewhere in midpoint of the second half, that Arsenal was playing like such a high pressure game in the midfield that Madrid couldn't place like four passes together before they lost the ball. Like that's why they were like the midfield battle was completely in favor of Arsenal in that particular duration,
Yeah.
and that has been your strongest point. And obviously, it put them under pressure. You score your goals in that particular time, and they just couldn't cope with it. But
Also in this process, in the process of all our discussion, we have totally discredited Ancelotti's tactics and all that. This game, right? This game, the
Mhm.
return leg at the Bernabeu will also be a good representation as to how he reorganizes
Hmm.
his midfield and tactics. Because if he keeps getting battered again against the Arsenal at the
Hmm.
Bernabeu,
Hmm.
then obviously it will set a precedent over his future as well, because he's
True.
obviously
True. True.
Xavi
काफी
Alonso is
Alonso आ
being
रहा है
linked and
भाई.
whatnot. So that is also there. That pressure is there because
Hmm, hmm,
he's
hmm,
lost
hmm.
big games this season as well against Barcelona.
Right.
So,
Right.
okay, now moving on to one important topic about Arsenal's chances in winning the Champions League. Now, why I say that is
इससे पहले
because
I have one more question
no,
from
it's
my colleague.
uh, across the table. Why I say that is that because obviously they played well, and I know it's early days, but why I bring up this topic of winning the Champions League is because in the other leg, right, Inter won the first leg, and probably Inter are going to progress because obviously we know the state of Bayern Munich under the relegation fodder, Burnley manager, ex-Burnley manager, okay, and and obviously Inter are pioneers of the Champions League as well, so they might progress. And considering PSG, who have not won the Champions League but are at the peak of their powers, then Arsenal, who have also not won the Champions League but are beat.
We
We
are
are
not at the peak of our powers also.
we are not at the peak
Right.
of their powers,
Never
but Saka is going to
They
be picked
had
for
the
the
best
Champions
game
League
of their life,
final.
basically.
So
Just that's
we
it.
we
Asking
had our
you,
best game of the life, but it was a one-off game. उससे पहले तुम लीग में देखो हम क्या किए, है ना?
but
That's why I was saying,
Arsenal
Yeah,
versus
okay,
Inter
got a
होगा, right?
question.
Arsenal
हाँ,
versus Inter होगा, right? If you progress, और
नहीं
Arsenal
नहीं,
PSG होगा,
PSG,
Arsenal
Arsenal
versus
versus PSG.
PSG.
PSG,
Same.
right?
PSG होगा.
PSG. तो मतलब तुम वहां हार रहे हो.
हाँ?
तो फिर अगला बारसा से होगा.
No, but
अरे वो तो फाइनल ही हो जाएगा भाई.
but that is what I'm saying, right? My biggest problem with Arsenal has been the fact that when I look at a Bayern, I look at a Barcelona, I look at a PSG, I look at the game changes that they have, we do not have them in terms of our attacking talent.
You have
हम
Arteta.
बस एक ही तरीके से जीत सकते हैं, defend. And I keep saying defend, but if you look at our normal structure, you'll see we play one of the highest lines in the league, even in the UCL. ठीक है, हम defend करते हैं. Uh, I can put out a data if you want. It's very easy to.
It's very easy.
I mean, we
बारसा
don't do
से भी.
suicidal defending like Ange. So I can understand where Amit is coming from, and he can
अरे
understand.
बारसा
Oh,
से
you play
हाईलाइन
like
खेल
that.
रहे हो क्या
You
तुम
don't
लोग
play
से
with
ज्यादा?
fire like we
बारसा
do.
से
No,
भी
we do
ऊपर
not
खेल
play
रहे
with
हो.
fire like you.
बार्सिलोना से कहाँ ऊपर खेल रहे हो भाई हाईलाइन तुम?
No,
अरे वो
but we are
एक
playing
बार
one of
कोई
the
पहुंच
highest
जाएगा
lines.
हाईलाइन तो बस वो हाईएस्ट.
भाई मैं बोल रहा हूँ one of the highest lines खेल रहे हैं. In Europe we are playing one of the highest lines, and it's a known
might be
fact.
actually,
Like
might be.
It's a
average
known
अनऑफ
fact.
position, average position
नहीं नहीं
में you are
नहीं तो
हाँ,
in their highline comes into the factor when they're attacking. As simple as that. When
yeah,
they're
of
defending, they defend
course.
really deep with 6 players. But when they attack,
भाई
now
हम
they
अटैक
attack
करते
on the
कितना
higher
आगे
side.
जाते हैं.
हाँ
Their
तो वही
defensive
बोल
line
रहा
is
हूँ
a
ना,
little bit on the
बारसा
और
higher
से
तू
side.
बारसा इन पोजीशन से भी हायर है क्या आर्सेनल?
नहीं बारसा से हाई कुछ भी नहीं है,
नहीं
लेकिन
है.
इसलिए वो बोल रहे हैं
I
one
said
of the
one of
highest
the
line, one of
highest.
the highest
अच्छा,
line.
I kept on
ये
saying
हर
one
जगह
of the
वन ऑफ द
highest.
बोलता है लेकिन हमारे
भाई जब one of the बोल
गेस्ट को
देता है
नहीं
ना, तो
देता है.
you don't really know कि he's talking about 10 high
of
lines,
the
he's talking about
biggest
20 high lines.
night,
It doesn't
one
really
of the
matter.
But I'm
highest
saying one of the
night.
highest lines in Europe. I'm saying in the top 5 leagues in all, like
ठीक है.
जितना भी लेना है तुम्हें,
Do you know
है ना?
United
अब
are the
अगर
only
तू तेरे को
team that
चाहिए
have
तो,
not been beaten in Europe?
हाँ,
हाँ,
Do you know United are
what?
the only team that have not been beaten in European competition?
Yet.
मैं भी ऐसा
that
Perfect.
बोलूंगा.
happens.
मैं भी बोलूंगा.
That
Add the
happens.
yet part.
नहीं मैं भी बोलूंगा. हाई लाइन बोला क्यों ये? मैं भी बोलूंगा
हाँ हाँ
कि
नहीं
मुझे
बोल
पता
ले
है
भाई. It's
मेरे
a
दिल
fact.
में
Chelsea
कि मेरे
Chelsea
दिल
It
हार
is
में
a
गई है
fact.
होता
It
भाई.
is a
क्या है.
fact. हाँ हाँ. If it is a fact, it is a fact. It cannot be
Oh my
disputed.
God.
बट मैं ये
हाँ
Right?
ठीक है, तेरा
ऐसे
पॉइंट
कहीं
क्या
नहीं
था भाई?
बोलता.
What was your point?
Yeah, go
My,
ahead.
my point is कि हम लोग आउट ऑफ पोजीशन अच्छा रखते हैं, but because the line is like that, transition we are susceptible. That's where we need to be careful. And from the games that I've watched, I think PSG is the team that should be feared, right? Followed by Barcelona. I know Inter and this Bayern are having a match in this matchup, but you just have to look how in like 10 minutes, both PSG and Barcelona are the teams that can destroy you. And Inter and Bayern don't have that facilities at
पूछो
this
लिवरपूल
present
से
point.
पूछो क्या हुआ था पीएसजी के साथ.
क्या? हाँ?
लिवरपूल से पूछो क्या हुआ था पीएसजी
By
के.
Liverpool तो Alisson saved them in the first leg. The game should have been over in the first leg. And उससे ज्यादा अच्छा किसी को पता ही नहीं होगा. The way PSG were having attacks after attacks after attacks,
पीएसजी से
so
एक लेवल
fluid
ऊपर
यार.
है बारसा इस साल.
हाँ?
But I wanted to say one thing. मेरे को आर्सेनल के लिए थोड़ा सिंपैथी फील हो रहा है because लीग में फिर मतलब बाकी सब जब ड्रॉप ऑफ हुए, लिवरपूल उभर के आ गई, दे हैड अ प्रॉब्लम। मतलब लिवरपूल अगर थोड़ा सा भी ड्रॉप ऑफ करती तो आर्सेनल वुड बी कम्पीटिंग फॉर टाइटल अलॉन्ग विद चैंपियंस लीग जो चल रहा है। बट मेरे को एक और चीज पूछना है।
मैं उस पर भी वापस बोलेगा,
नहीं नहीं नहीं,
विच इज नॉट
बोलना
गोइंग बी
बोलना जरूर,
नाइस।
बट मेरे को कंप्लीट कर रहे थे क्वेश्चन। क्वेश्चन ये
हाँ
है, मेरे को इसलिए सिंपैथी फील हो रहा है कि लीग में यहाँ मरी थोड़ी, एंड देन जब यूसीएल पे आ रहा है, मुझे लगता है लास्ट 2-3 साल से मैं जितना देख रहा हूँ ना, जनरली मैन सिटी या रियल मैड्रिड ही हम बात करते हैं, ये दोनों ही टॉप टीम्स है यूरोप के, यही दोनों फाइनल खेलेंगे, यही आगे जाएंगे या जीतेंगे। ये एटलेटिको वेल्टेट्रिको सबको पता है कि मतलब ऊपर
बट
नीचे रहेगा।
but Bayern has
Liverpool are
also been
not
there.
peak of their powers. Liverpool never reached the level of the Champions League that we are currently seeing with Barcelona. ये लोग can demolish any teams one sided, मतलब ऐसा दिख रहा है। मतलब they could
जैसे
have two
बायर्न
goal
का था।
deficit and मतलब they could overturn that deficit, ऐसा जो
अरे पीएसजी, अरे भाई पीएसजी वेंट इनटू वो भाई प्लेऑफ्स, क्या बात कर रहा है तू?
क्या
Yeah,
बोलते
yeah,
हो
yeah.
गॉड am
पीएसजी
I
वेंट इनटू
asking?
प्लेऑफ्स माय फ्रेंड।
हाँ?
आई एम सेइंग, यू आर सेइंग पीएसजी इज
अरे
मेंटेनिंग सच अ
करंट
हाई फ्रिकिंग।
करंट करंट
अबे
फॉर्म।
करंट का क्या मतलब होता है? पांच पांच गेम में
अरे
तूने तो सेट बना
माय
सकता है भाई।
क्वेश्चन इज बेस्ड ऑन दैट ना, आर्सेनल के लिए सिंपैथी फील हो रहा है दैट इफ दे प्रोग्रेस आल्सो, आगे जाके सेमीफाइनल ऊपर से फाइनल में दे वुड हैव टू फेस टीम्स दैट आर एट द पीक ऑफ देयर पावर्स। इंटर पीक ऑफ देयर पावर्स, पीएसजी पीक ऑफ देयर पावर्स, बार्सिलोना पीक ऑफ देयर पावर्स।
Barcelona.
You do you know they have to compete, they could end up competing against two title winners in their own respective leagues, so
Yeah, but हाँ,
difficult है।
लास्ट ईयर रियल मैड्रिड ऐसे भी जीत
more
गई
than
थी
more
क्योंकि
than more
नोबडी
than
वाज कंपीटिंग एक्चुअली।
more than sympathy, I feel I know we have won and I feel great and whatnot, but whenever I look at the board, the questions that come in my head are why. And my questions that come in the head are why? Because of the transfer window in the summer, right? And I have seen how the board is responded for 3 consecutive winter windows where Arsenal had the chance to win the title, and he's left, and the board has left Arteta short, and the entire world can see how short we are in our attacking sense. It
हम्म।
Yeah.
is it is such a big botch up by the board, by the team, by everyone involved, even Arteta, if he was involved in it. Why are you doing this to yourself? Eventually, players have a cycle and players have ambitions, which makes sense. If right now Arsenal has a great defense, the players are thinking, I'm one of the best defenders in the world. Why am I not winning? Why
Hmm.
should I stay? And that is what I would at least think. And then I'm an Arsenal fan, right?
या
My bigger crib and my gripe is with the board more than
हम्म।
anything, right? If you want to win the Champions League, you have to play the best teams and you have to try to win against them
It's
some way or the
a
other.
little difficult is what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
It's extremely difficult.
It's
It's
extremely
extremely
difficult
difficult
for Arsenal.
unless and until you have satanic powers like Chelsea, wherein they won that Champions League under Tuchel. अगर उस टाइप का लक हो गया तो भाई,
हाँ वो तो
मतलब
भाई अलग
best,
है,
हम्म।
मक्खन वाला,
but that's once in a blue moon.
once in a
Otherwise,
blue
if you
moon.
see
Yeah,
the teams which have won the Champions League,
yeah.
they were the best teams. They were always the best teams. बहुत कम ऐसा हुआ है कि the best teams haven't won. But वही है ना कि what if everything clicks and
देखना भाई,
if
जो क्लब भी जो चैंपियंस लीग जीता, वो किसके अगेंस्ट जीता? स्पर्स।
सेमीफाइनल्स भूल
first,
गए क्या भाई?
हाँ,
कितने सेमीफाइनल्स भूल गए क्या?
बायर्न सिटी
सेमीफाइनल,
को
क्वार्टर
हराया था,
फाइनल।
ये भी भूल गए क्या?
फर्स्ट किसको पीट के आई थी, ये भी ध्यान है कि नहीं?
also Spurs did
फर्स्ट
not
बाय
play
द
their
वे दैट वाज देयर बेस्ट सीजन इन देयर थ्रू आउट देयर, क्या तो बोलते हैं अपना
चैंपियंस लीग में
एंटायर वो।
नहीं, it wasn't there. I don't
डिक्लाइन पे
think
था एंड वी वर, मतलब डिक्लाइन चल रहा था उस समय एंड
decline था. Also
लीग
people
वाज
people
बैड।
forget people forget Ajax के अंदर against they had one player who had the game of his life,
मोरा।
uh,
हम्म।
Lucas Moura,
लुकास
right?
मोरा। हम्म।
Lucas
वो
Moura,
फाइनल नहीं
it
खेला,
was, huh?
वो
जो
फाइनल नहीं
फाइनल नहीं
खेला।
खेला,
जो
मोरा
फाइनल
right?
नहीं खेला।
आई
हाँ।
नो दैट।
But what I'm trying to say, that was the greatest game of his life, and as a team, Spurs would not have progressed if that one player wasn't have been there. But ये
हम्म।
फुटबॉल में होता है.
पूरी
होता
पूरी
ही है।
टीम डिक्लाइन पे
But
थी।
I'm
लास्ट ईयर
saying
डॉर्टमंड पहुंची थी फाइनल में, भूल गए हो क्या?
क्या?
हाँ
ये
लास्ट ईयर
डॉर्टमंड
डॉर्टमंड थे।
पहुंची थी
हाँ
फाइनल में।
लास्ट ईयर डॉर्टमंड थी भाई फाइनल पे।
हाँ, but you just need to look at the pathway that they had at that point of time,
आई नो, आई
right?
अंडरस्टैंड ऑल दैट। मैं
That
इसीलिए
part,
बोल रहा हूँ ना, लास्ट 2-3 साल
हाँ,
में ये जो कॉन्टेक्स्ट तुम लोग बोल रहे हो ना, फाइनल में स्पर्स मिल गई, फाइनल में डॉर्टमुंड मिल गई, बायर्न को बहुत सालों पहले डॉर्टमुंड मिल गई थी, मतलब
हाँ
When you enter a
अरे
final
वो
to
क्लॉप की
watch the
डॉटमंड थी
game,
भाई,
when you enter a
वो
नहीं नहीं
क्लॉप की
नहीं,
डॉटमंड
watch
थी।
the game,
हाँ
you
वो क्लॉप की डॉटमेंट थी, बट आई एम जस्ट सेइंग कि इन अ फाइनल, राइट, इन
तो
अ
क्लॉप की
फाइनल नाउ
डॉटमंड से
यू
वो जो
यू हैव
यब
टू लुक
हैंकनेस
एट।
की बायन थी वो, तो वो भी तो
भाई
सोचो।
भाई
सिंगल
क्लॉप की
सिंगल
डॉटमंड
उसके
वाज
बाद
ऑन द
अगर
बैक ऑफ विनिंग द टाइटल ब्रो।
आई नो वो बहुत अच्छे थे, मैं मना नहीं कर रहा हूँ, बट यब
दे वर बेटर
के
देन
अंदर
बायर्न
कौन
भाई।
कौन थे पता है? वर्ल्ड
मैं
क्लास
समझ रहा
स्टार।
हूँ,
मतलब इट्स
मैं
लाइक,
समझ रहा हूँ। वो वाला सीजन जिस वाले पॉइंट पे दे वेंट टू फाइनल ना, उस वाले पॉइंट पे दे वर डोमिनेटिंग बुंडेसलीगा ना ब्रो। हाउ कैन बायर्न बी बेटर देन देम व्हेन दे वर डोमिनेटिंग
आई एम
बुंडेसलीगा?
स्टिल बेटर देन देम। तू अगर लीग में कंपेयर
दे
कर
वर
रहा
लूजिंग
है
ऑन द
एट द
लीग।
एंड, अरे अरे यार कैसे बात कर रही है, इतना सब बात कर ले रियल मैड्रिड का औहदा ये वो, अरे फाइनल
नहीं नहीं नहीं
अरे
चीज
नहीं
बहुत
भाई,
मैटर
लेकिन
करता है।
अच्छा अपन
भाई देख,
लेवरकुसेन और
दैट्स
बायर्न
नॉट
के
व्हाट आई
लास्ट
एम
टाइम
सेइंग,
बात
तू
कर रहे
सही
थे
बोल
ना,
रहा है। बायर्न
लास्ट
इज
ईयर
नॉट
में।
यूरोपियन रॉयल्टी लाइक कहते बोलते हैं
हाउ आर यू
मैड्रिड।
सेइंग दैट
मैड्रिड,
5 यूसीएल जीते हैं भाई वो,
अरे मेरे
5
भाई
ही
आई
तीन
अंडरस्टैंड, आई
लाइक
अंडरस्टैंड दे
याद
एट दैट
नहीं।
पॉइंट दैट वाज इट वाज 4 आई थिंक, जिस वाला पॉइंट
ठीक
पे
है,
दे वर
नो,
प्लेइंग अगेंस्ट
वंस यू
बट
डॉर्टमुंड।
वन इट,
आई
वंस यू हैव
आई
प्लेयर्स
डू,
यू वॉन इट तो।
अच्छा
I do get the
नॉट द
point.
सेम प्ले ना, लेकिन हाँ बोल।
I do get the point which Rajesh is saying, that you have to play the toughest teams
हाँ
in
दिस
their
ईयर यस।
where respectively they have come into their best forms. That I agree, right? But I'm just saying that maybe that's what we should be playing as well, and maybe that is how the board, मेरे को बहुत बड़ा gripe है board से, the board will understand that this is the difference, you know, this is the difference.
तो तू
अब मेरे
चाहता
को
है
क्या,
हारे,
हाँ?
तू चाहता है हारे ताकि बोर्ड
नहीं
को
वो
बेच
चाहता
दे।
है कि
मैं
पिटना ही है
चाहता
तो बेस्ट टीम से
हूँ,
पिटे।
मैं चाहता हूं, मैं क्या चाहता हूं, मैं चाहता हूं कि बोर्ड को दिखे कि नहीं, कोच ने जितना था किया, अब गलती तुम्हारी है।
बट अगर जीत
हाँ,
गए तो फिर कैसे पता चलेगा बोर्ड को
नहीं
ये?
क्या
जीत गए तो आर्टेटा हैज टू से दैट मैं रिजाइन कर रहा हूँ इफ यू डोंट गिव मी द प्लेयर्स, इट इज
भाई,
ओनली द कोच भाई।
अभी नहीं, लेट अस जस्ट अज्यूम जीत गए, ठीक
हम्म,
है, लेट अस जस्ट अज्यूम कि जीत गए, फॉर अ मोमेंट लेट्स अज्यूम जीत गए। ही
डोंट
हैज टू गो टू द कोर्ट एंड से कि आई वुड हैव गिवन यू द पीएल एज वेल, यू डिड नॉट
एज्यूम ही
गिव मी
करना
द
पड़ेगा।
प्लेयर्स,
हाँ
I have
करेक्ट।
done it in Europe. Why is my squad so small? Why do not I have enough attackers? What are you doing to me? You have done it for three consecutive times. पहले तुम बोलते थे कि मैं यूरोप में अच्छा नहीं कर रहा, अब मैं यूरोप में भी अच्छा कर रहा हूँ। For the first time in a long period of time, Arsenal have played two quarter finals in a row
या
in the Champions League.
या
तो मैंने ये भी कर दिया। Now if you're not supporting me, मतलब forget the board. I think the fans will be in arms right now, because
हम्म।
finally you have a manager जिसको तुम्हें लगता है कि he should be supported. I'm sure Amit would have felt the same with Pochettino. I'm sure Jogokier should have felt the same with Klopp. When the
एट
fans
पॉइंट्स या।
come together that way, pressure affects 100%, if it affects by, and that is what I would want also. मतलब ठीक है, मैं चाहता हूँ कि आर्सेनल जीते, बट आई ऑल्सो वांट टू सी आर्सेनल compete at the biggest stage against the biggest teams. So when we were drawn against Real Madrid, एक टाइम पे ऐसा लगा था कि यार डॉर्टमुंड मिल जाता, लगा था
हम्म।
लगा था कि डॉर्टमुंड मिल जाता, because right now they are a little laggard in their development per
करेक्ट।
se. But then I was also thinking I want to see Arsenal play the biggest teams,
और
the
कब तक
best.
भागोगे ना, कब तक भागोगे? चैंपियंस लीग ना, यू गोइंग टू गेट
Uh,
दोस टीम्स एट
and
सम पॉइंट।
that is what Champions League is about. It's about facing them and figuring out, oh,
Yeah,
this is
but
how game is.
या
to win it,
There
whoever
is.
wins it is going to have a, you if you especially, मैं आर्सेनल के बारे में बात कर रहा था simply, you are going to
हाँ,
end up facing Real Madrid, then you'll face PSG, and then तुम अगर वहां से
हाँ।
क्वालिफाई कर गए उस तरफ जो दूसरे साइड में है, वहां पे तुम लोग
हम्म।
बायर्न इंटरफेस करोगे, तो
by
ऐसी
Bayern या
factors
Inter
that
नहीं, I
difficult
think
बारसा
it could be
decisions and
दिस वुड
Barcelona,
बी
पता है?
बार्सिलोना ओनली,
इधर
बारसा ही
I
होगा।
think I think it could be Barcelona, but what I'm saying is it also sends out a message to the players of the world कि भाई इनमें इतना अच्छा है, इनको दो तीन पीसेस चाहिए, क्या हम वो दो तीन पीसे हो सकते हैं? It sends out a message because you're on display to the entire Europe and all the players are watching, है
correct,
ना? तो
correct, very
मतलब
very big point, yeah.
of course I'll be heartbroken, right? But I'm just saying कि what after what we did to Real Madrid, a lot of the other fans also
Ah,
of other
the
clubs
world would have taken
हम्म।
started looking at Arsenal in a different light,
that's a
या
है
या
ना?
very important
दैट वाज अ डिस्प्ले,
point.
लाइक प्रॉपर डिस्प्ले ऑफ पावर,
मैं
यू हैव टू
मैं
से।
तो
बड़ा बड़ा
खेलना
मैच
चाहूंगा
देखते हो।
ना यार, मैं खेलना
And
चाहूंगा.
I actually, I feel a little bit maybe like sorry for the skepticals who would not would not have seen the match, but would just look at the scoreline and see, okay, two set pieces and one goal and all that. Like you basically have to see this match to understand that what was the difference between Arsenal and Madrid in that second half. Then
Yeah.
only you can appreciate basically how it went.
So,
Only then you will appreciate.
Maheshwari,
नहीं तो
we
नहीं,
have
ये XG
so
वेगजी से कुछ भी नहीं हो सकता.
Maheshwari,
उससे को समझ में नहीं आएगा
we
scoreline
have
से.
talked about good things in the match, right? कि they were very good attacking midfield battles में Real Madrid got a run for their money
अमित
and
बोलेगा
whatnot.
Hmm.
आर्टेटा ओवर सेलिब्रेट क्यों किया, यही क्रिटिसिज्म
So,
बताओ मुझे.
so after this a very good display of football across the pitch, are we going to see a bus parked in the second leg?
No,
हाँ.
but you just have to see how we have played. पूरे लीग में तुम देख लो, पूरे लीग में देख लो, है ना. इवन व्हेन वी हैव हैड अ CDM प्लेइंग एज अ स्ट्राइकर, हमें जब चांस मिलता है वी ट्राई टू अटैक विथ व्हाट वी कैन,
But
एंड
ये
दैट्स हाउ वी हैव
situation
प्लेड.
अलग है ना.
नहीं नहीं नहीं,
Think
actually
about the
Abhay,
situation
that is
totally.
not a fair comparison. That's not a fair in league you have to do that, नहीं तो you'll fall behind. Like your
अभी you have
chances
a
of
very
title
good
are
lead. You're
dependent on
sitting.
the fact that you have to score in every game, but
Yeah,
here now you have an advantage.
yeah,
So
yeah, I understand. And matlab, from a normal game, we won't be that much attacking, right? But we will take our chances, and you will see at the end of the day that we have had shots on target. Of course, we would not take the risk which we would have if the game
Correct.
was somewhere else.
It won't be a
The
hmm,
bus
risk would
pass.
be lesser. It would be
hmm,
safer passing,
Correct.
right?
okay,
But that's not a deep block.
Yeah,
There's a
that is
difference.
okay,
It's safer
that's
passing.
हाँ.
We would take the safer route, लेकिन हम धीरे 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 करके प्रोग्रेस करेंगे,
समझ
एंड
गया
इफ वी
समझ
गेट अ
गया.
चांस वील टेक आवर चांस.
yeah.
बट
Basically you'll
एक बात
reduce
जरूर
your,
है.
yeah, you will reduce your third like final third ka passing, and you'll go
एंड
towards more like in your half you'll pass a lot more.
I
हाँ,
am expecting
in a
Real Madrid
pass,
red
and
cards
also
in
our
the game.
third
तो
man
नहीं
runs
लगता
into the
मुझे.
box.
मुझे I still feel कि this is more idealistic Abhay Maheshwari talking, but the stakes are high. The opposition is Real Madrid, and you have to do anything
It
in your
humbles
power
you.
to defend this league.
No, but
Defend this lead
I
by
couldn't
everything that you
disagree
have.
more with Amit, because I would say when it comes to Arsenal, more often than not, I have been more on the pessimistic end, because I know what football can do, because I've been at the end of it, on the other end of it. And right now also, when you see, I'm not saying that the game is done. I'm saying
Hmm.
we are in a good position and anything can
Hmm.
happen. But I
Yeah.
also have seen Arsenal over a period of time, and I've seen how Arteta plays. And Arteta, of course, जब वो अटैक करेंगे तो देखेगा दो लाइन लगी रहेगी. But that is how we defend. But
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
also attack, right?
हाँ,
And you just
will it be lobbed passes all the time कि अब बस मतलब
no.
different
But लॉब
maybe
passes
few
देके
people
फायदा
running.
नहीं है ना.
हाँ.
लॉब passes देके फायदा नहीं है,
But
क्योंकि
राया तुम्हारा नंबर 10 है ना. He can put a good lob pass.
भाई तू बता, एक ही प्लेयर है जो पकड़ सकता है अभी.
रिसीव कौन कर लेगा भाई, रिसीवर सी नहीं
साका
है तो
दौड़ेगा
भाई
भाई ऐसा
एक
क्या.
एक ही प्लेयर है, मार्टिनेली, जो भाग सकता है अभी. साका नहीं भाग रहा है वैसे. ही शॉर्ट स्पेसेस में बहुत अच्छा खेल रहा है. ही इज टेकिंग, ही कैन राइड चैलेंजेस, बट ही इज नॉट फिट एनफ टू टेक
I
हिज
don't think
स्प्रिंट्स.
it's
एंड
going to be a.
हाँ.
I don't think it's going to be that pragmatic as Amit is
भाई
trying to say.
Yeah.
मैं
Long
एक
ball and all
बोलता
that.
हूँ कि एक एक गोल अगर रियल मैड्रिड ने मार दिया 10-15 मिनट में, यू विल सी अ बस पार्क.
ये
No, I
थोड़ी
don't think
पूछा था
so.
तूने तूने पूछा था गेम में अप्रोच कैसे
नहीं,
करेंगे.
बट इन जनरल मुझे स्टिल लगता है कि बिकॉज इट्स रियल मैड्रिड, इट हैज टू बी अ
You have to
डिफरेंट
understand बस पार का
माइंडसेट
क्या
दैट यू
मतलब
हैव
है.
टू
जैसे
डू.
हाँ तो
यूनाइटेड ने
भाई
एनफील्ड में किया था कि
तो
शर्ट
हम
स्टॉप.
मैं बोल तो रहा,
तुम
सेफर
कर लो.
सेफर पासिंग
that
उनका.
is that is parking the bus.
दैट
Yeah.
इज पार्किंग द
शट
बस.
स्टॉप.
अब मेरे अगर
Hmm.
2-3 अटैकर विंगर ऊपर रह रहे हैं दैट मींस आई एम एंटिसिपेटिंग कि इफ आई गेट द बॉल बैक, रिट्रीव द बॉल बैक, मैं अपनी मिडफील्ड से थोड़े
It's a counter game,
पासेस
it
करके
becomes a
प्रोग्रेस
counter
कर
game.
सकता हूँ.
भाई
Hmm.
हमारे पास काउंटर के लिए प्लेयर ही नहीं है वैसे.
I know you cannot play
अभी
that, you
साका
cannot
ऊपर
play
भाई
ही
counter
है, इज
game.
हमारे
व्हाट आई
पास बस
मीन.
एक मार्टिनेली है जो भाग सकता. ठीक
अरे
है.
मैं बस ये बता रहा हूँ, तुम भागो ना भागो, तुम्हारे दो जो बंदे हैं ना वो ऊपर ही रहेंगे. दे वोंट बी इन द बॉक्स डिफेंडिंग ऑल द टाइम इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग.
बट देन
हाँ.
Also पता
if
है
you're
बहुत
saying
सारी
that
चीज
is
अब
not. बोल.
नहीं. One thing that I feel like I see changing is like how Madrid front line wasn't pressing this game. that is going to change, is what
They
I
will
feel.
Of
have
course.
possession. They will have a lot of
अब नहीं है,
possession.
नहीं तो नहीं यार, उनके फैंस तो वो रेपुटेशन पे नहीं जाते, वो स्टार वार सब एक दिन में खत्म हो जाता है उनका, ठीक है,
एक बराबर भाई.
Why
एक
Javier
बराबर।
Alonso is coming?
तो
I
यार
also
लेट्स सी।
also my other thing is when everybody has pinpointed कि अच्छा ये लोग ऐसे कर रहे थे तो अब तो प्रेस करेंगे. That is what is actually scaring me a little more.
Exactly, yeah.
Bhai, ideally you launch the ball. Please do not play around with it because now the players are going to press. Now they are out for blood. उनको अब वो मेहनत करने के लिए आए हैं
तो
कि भाई
दिक्कत हुई
किसी
है,
की तरह घुस जाए. हम लोग
मोटिवेशनल
को
वीडियो भी
स्टाइल वाइल
दिखा रहे
वाला
हैं।
नहीं मारने का.
अबे पता चला,
Right?
अगर वो मोटिवेशनल वीडियो में वही आर्टेटा का बल्ब वाला वीडियो ही दिखा दिया तो वहां से भी मोटिवेट हो
भाई बहुत अच्छी बात है.
भाई देख यार, मैड्रिड को पता है कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है। वो अंदर लेके जाएंगे, वो दिखाएंगे ये देखो कप्स, यहाँ पे एक और नहीं दिखा
हाँ
तो
वो
तुम
भी।
सोच लेना क्या हुआ।
भाई
सिंपल।
पहले
खत्म है.
ठीक
नहीं
है
राजेश,
यार, इससे
पहले
ज्यादा कुछ नहीं है
अबे
मोटिवेशन
सच
भाई।
में,
और
अभी तू
मोटिवेशन है
बोल रहा था
इससे,
भाई
अगर
भाई
एक
क्या,
और ट्रॉफी नहीं आएगी
मैड्रिड नीड्स
तुम जाओगे।
मोटिवेशन ब्रो,
अरे
दे हैव कप्स इन देयर फील्ड मैन।
मैंने रोनाल्डो के टाइम से ये भी सुना था, दे जस्ट प्ले द चैंपियंस लीग एंथम, उसी से उनको कुछ हो जाता है। अरे सच में, दिस इज नॉट अ
अरे
जोक,
सबसे
दिस इज
सबसे बढ़िया मीम पता है तुम लोग आई डोंट नो इफ यू गाइस आर ऑन ट्विटर और नॉट, बट वन ऑफ द मीम्स इज दैट रियल मैड्रिड लाइक कहते बोलते हैं अपना ट्राइंग टू फेच द सैटानिक पावर्स टू डू दिस एंड ऑल दैट, लाइक देयर आर सो मेनी मीम्स
ये पता है
अबाउट द
ये
सैटानिक पावर वाला चीज।
Hi
हैंस
bro,
को
such a
पकड़,
satanic club in the UCL man. I hate them man.
हैंस जिमर को पकड़ के मारना चाहिए, ये चूतिया ने बनाया है, ठीक है,
भाई देखो
ये
राजेश,
बनाया है चैंपियंस लीग एंथम।
I would love to see
हैंस ने बनाया
uh,
है?
और तुझे
Yes,
नहीं पता था?
मुझे नहीं पता था ब्रो।
हैंस जिमर वो स्टोरी है भाई, एंथम कैसे बना।
अरे भाई
क्या?
he was just trying out something and then someone heard it and फिर वहां से वो एंथम बन गया। he was not even trying to make any anthem। भाई हैंस जिमर का गाना है, इसीलिए इतना रोंगटे
बढ़िया
खड़े हो जाते
बढ़िया।
हैं, बोलते ही रोंगटे खड़े हो गए, अब तो सुनने में तो अलग ही थी, नसीब नहीं हुआ वो अलग बात है।
नहीं नहीं, वो वाला बहुत सही था क्योंकि चैंपियंस लीग का एंथम बजा दो उतने में ही उन लोग का चालू हो
अबे
जाना।
उतने में हो जाते हैं वो। क्रिस्टियानो रोनाल्डो या किसी का मैंने सुना था, वो ईयरपॉड में वही सुनते हैं और मैच में आते हैं, उनको कुछ हो जाता है सच में, वो जो बॉल एंड ऑल द जो होता है।
Like the only I feel like that Arsenal has done the best they could have done. 3 goals is a really good
आई
lead.
मीन यस,
The
100%।
only problem is Arsenal has played their best game.
देख
They
मैं
cannot play
तू
better
नहीं
than
रोता
this.
ना, तू नहीं रोता, मैं बोलता कि भाई रियल मैड्रिड जीत रही है, मेरे
हारने वाले हैं।
पैसे वहीं पे है,
हाँ हाँ
पूरे पैसे। ये
हाँ
जो
हाँ, सही
तीसरा
बोल
गोल
रहे
है
हो।
ना, ये थोड़ा
ये ट्रिकी है, तीन
गेम हो गया,
तीन गोल
गेम हो गया।
डेफिसिट एक्चुअली वापस लेके आना ना बहुत डिफिकल्ट होता है। द
फाइनल
प्रॉब्लम
में
विथ यू इज दैट कि अपना नहीं, नॉट प्रॉब्लम एक्चुअली, तुम्हारा होम गोल्स है ना, तो होम वाला सिस्टम तुम्हारे लिए वर्क नहीं करता अभी इस वाले पॉइंट पे।
भाई वो,
लेकिन वो तो
अबे
तो मजा आता
अबे
है यार, वो चाम
I
था।
चांद था यार, मेरे को अच्छा लगता था।
I do want a team in white jersey to kick Arsenal out of the UCL.
अरे
Ah, yeah, he finds
Yeah.
solace like that,
Hope,
See,
yeah।
that's the good thing. If
hope.
you don't have Arsenal hate when you're a Tottenham fan, then what are you doing?
Okay,
Yeah.
great
Best
discussion, guys,
कर दे,
let's see,
magic हो
good
जाए
night।
कुछ।
Yep.